Welcome back to another episode of Plant-Based Dads. I'm Tim. We were cooking bread in a bread maker, and now we've graduated to making our own sourdough bread, not using any yeast. We're talking water, flour, salt, and a starter. With a few simple tools, a few simple ingredients, you can do this at home as well. Let's make some bread. All right, with our digital scale and bowl set up, we're gonna begin with 300 grams of water. Just remember, this water needs to be chlorine-free. So we got it from our water filter. If you set out water the night before, the chlorine can evaporate. It'd be nice if it was at a warm temperature. Next, we add 10 grams of salt. And then take our starter. We want 100 grams of this. You know, some people use 50, some people use 150. I chose to use 100, but I'm telling you this just because it's pretty forgiving. Now you have the 3 in the bowl at this point. Now we want to stir or mix this a little bit. And now we want to add our 400 grams of flour. The flour combination I'm using is 100% stone ground wheat with a little bit of barley flour. Now we can begin mixing. I start with a spoon and then begin using my hands. And I'd like you to use your hands to experience the changes with the gluten, water, and flour combination, because later this will help you when experimenting with flours, water percentages. But anyway, again, this really, you'll feel the changes and then get to know that. For photography reasons, I'm transferring this to a clean container, but we want to keep this covered for, you can work with 10 to 45 minutes. All right, my allotted time is up. Now I can begin. With wet fingers, I'm going to pull the sides of the flour to the opposite edge. And I do this until I can feel tension, which is about 6 folds. So I cover this bowl again for another 10 to 45 minutes. Now again, with wet fingers, I'm pulling sides to the opposite edge. On the second time, I'm probably doing this about 4 folds. Now we're going to cover again. Now let's set for 3 to 6 hours. Now depending on the temperature in your home, how active your yeast is or your starter, that's why this range of 3 to 6 hours. Now we need to prepare for proofing in the fridge. So place dough on surface, and you can either use a floured surface, because this is a pretty wet dough, or you can just leave it wet on your counter or cutting board and on your surface. We're going to do 4 folds and then flip. Now let that set. Now we can set up bowl for proofing dough in the fridge. I'm using a flour sack towel with brown rice flour, and if you have just all-purpose flour, bread flour, that works, but I've just read that rice flour, it just has a little different texture and it comes out a little bit nicer. So place dough ball upside down in bowl, cover, and place in fridge. Now we're gonna let this proof for a range of 6 hours to 48 hours. You normally just do it for 24 hours. It's been 24 hours since we made this bread dough and put it and proofed it in the refrigerator. All right, so we're taking the flour towel off. All right, looks good. Take a plate off. So you can see it hasn't risen much, but I've got a nice top on it. We can tell it's a little spongy. Because it's cold, I'm able to use a scissors to make our breaks in the dough. So let me pull out our pan that's been preheating. Our oven, our pot has been preheating at 450. Because the dough is nice and firm from being in the fridge, it's cold, so much easier to cut. I haven't really invested in some bread cutting tools, so a scissors fine, a knife is fine, but they actually have a razor blade scorer that's made specifically for bread. But anyway, if you're just getting started, you can still make this happen, and that's what we just did. So this is in the hot pan right now. I'm gonna put the lid over this. So the reason for this is that now condensation is gonna be happening inside, and that's where we're gonna get that rise and the airiness and all that to work together. Okay, so this is going in the oven for 30 minutes. All right, we had it 30 minutes at 450, and then we checked on it, we removed the lid. Now we've left it for 450 at 10 minutes to brown on top. You can control the amount of browning you want by doing it less than 10 minutes. We did 10 minutes. Let's see our results here. That is beautiful. So the measurements we're using is for this size Dutch oven. You can see the size boulet I have. Having the parchment paper, how simple is that? There's no extra cleanup. Now, I'm so excited. So you saw the bowl that it was proofing in, kind of a flat surface, but you can see how it rounded up. This looks beautiful. We need to cool it for a minimum of a half hour, maybe 2 hours, and then we can slice it. And so we'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like inside. Okay, so up to this point, I've shown you how easy it can be. The ultimate ending is gonna be see how does it taste, how does it look, did this thing turn out? Let's find out.
Hey, what you got going on over here?
Hey, you're just in time.
A little bread, I'm always up for this. What is this thing?
We store bread in there.
Oh, it's a bread storage thing?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay. Sourdough bread. Flour, water, and salt. So we just cut this, and this is what we want to see. All these holes, this crust on the top and the bottom. So this is perfect. We cooked it a little bit lighter. You want to try this?
Yes, yes, absolutely. It's nice and hot.
Yeah.
It's absolutely delicious.
Yeah?
Yeah, the texture is right on. It has kind of that sourdoughy taste.
Yeah.
Right? The coloring is beautiful. It's very nice.
It's perfect. So what we're gonna use this for sandwiches or sides.
We'll just eat it right here.
Just eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hold on. You don't even need anything with it. Like you could just eat this.
Again,
this is good.
Here's another slice, right? Look at all those holes. Like this is just perfect. So
it's good.
But again, what's your definition of perfect? Do you want something more crusty? Then just leave it in for longer. So anyway, but this works. And for 4 weeks now, we've been making this happen. So
yeah, the bread game has gotten really good.
all right, at this point, let's have a seat. We'll wrap it up. I'll maybe go over some tips or tricks now that you've seen the big picture of everything.
This is mine.
All right, in conclusion of our bread making video here, this definitely wasn't a master class, but I wanted to show you how easy it is to make this bread. All right, one tip of advice I can give, I think in being successful with this recipe, it's very forgiving in terms of how long you want it to proof, all that. Just try to figure out how it works into your lifestyle. Like if you begin in the morning or the night before, when is your outcome? You do that, you're gonna be successful and your family's gonna be happy. I mean, I can tell you, we just got back on vacation. This bread is so much better than any of the sourdough bread I bought out there. So if any questions come up or something you wanna run by us, feel free to leave a comment below. Remember to subscribe or like, be notified of future videos. Again, I'm building on this simple bread recipe from things to like focaccia to pizza dough coming up. So thank you.